I've had very little sleep today. My wife collected me from Gatwick at 3 o'clock in the morning. EasyJet were predictably useless, and flight was delayed like almost 3 hours. I was in Lviv yesterday morning, woken up by air raid sirens, and it puts a lot of the stuff I've been talking about with and thinking about around Soul Survivor into a kind of a different perspective. But for me, a chap I was speaking to yesterday on the bus, going through the or approaching the border crossing, was essentially, he was saying, you why don't you say to people that, for me, I've dealt with this stuff. The reason I feel able to speak about it is because I've dealt with it. And each person I've spoken to, it's up to 60 people now. I've spent hours and hours and hours. I even bumped into someone in a small town or village in Scotland last week. They said, "Hey, you Sam?" I didn't know them. I hadn't recognised them. They'd watched one of the videos and really thanked me for making it. And I thought, she was incredibly... She really inspired me, and it was nice to hear that I'd made something that was helpful for her, where she had experienced a level of abuse herself, and found these things useful. So I've dealt with this, but I don't think you have. The majority of people I've spoken to will say, "Yeah, I want to speak with you." The people that have been incredibly involved in Soul Survivor have said, "Yes, I'm ready to speak with you," and then the next day they duck out, or they say, "Oh, I'm having a pastoral responsibility, so I couldn't speak about this stuff." I'd kind of suggest you're all cowards, those of you who have spoken to me like that and don't speak up. And that's maybe quite, I don't know, direct, but I'm kind of bored of the fact that this is 20, 30 years old. For others, it's a lot more recent. And I'm not speaking to the people that were abused directly at all. I wouldn't say that to you at all. But to those who knew, those who are part of it, those who continue to be part of it, you're cowards. And I think there needs to be a whole system change, an institutional change, in order for this stuff not to reoccur and reoccur and reoccur, whether it is the 9 o'clock service, whether it was the stuff in Lewis or Chichester, whether it was the stuff that has occurred all over the place, that people change jobs, lose jobs, hide away. A lot of people that have been watching these videos are part of the problem. And I think it's about time you do something about it. I'll probably still make something, but I'm fed up with... Well, I'm fed up with being this tired, but I'm also fed up with the hollowness that there is in Christian faith at the moment. If you want to make a difference, you kind of have to stand up, and the majority is sat at best, sleeping at worst. So I think it's time you wake up. I think it's time you stand up. And whether I make a documentary, I don't really care. But I would be interested for the church to be awake and standing. I think it would be a church I'd be interested in being involved in at that point.